Where the money at, dog? We'll bring it back. Don't worry where the money at. Right there.
Welcome. This is Dave from the Tax Shack. I got Sonia from Sonia's Taxes, and we're here today with the Deduction Daddy podcast. And it's normally I got a guy, but I got a gal here, and this is a real woman in business, and she's going to tell us all about herself today. Sonia, it's crazy how we met. It's crazy how we got here, but tell us how it all started.
It all started coming to Las Vegas, and my family happened to have a lot of tax businesses here, and it was a time during the recession. Something similar to maybe what's going on today in 2008. And taxes was always, something that was part of my family. And I was out of college. We were going through a lot of changes, and they were like, can you help us run a business? And I said, yeah, sure. And that's how I got started.
It's kind of funny. I had a similar background because my mom was a forensic accountant, and she worked for a CPA in Malibu as a kid, and my dad was a mortgage broker. So I literally, when I was a good kid, I always joke, when I was a good kid, I got to go collect the rent. When I was a bad kid, I had to stay home and post checks and do the bookkeeping. So it's like a love-hate relationship with the bookkeeping side. But yeah, similar. I grew up in the business. And we both grew up in the Valley.
Yeah, LA, Sherman Oaks area, 818, 818.
Yep, 818, Granada Hills. So yeah, it's kind of funny how we kind of crossed paths and then reconnected. So your business is same, but different as mine, which is very fun because we get to collaborate on certain things. So you're more about the growth and expansion of teaching people now at this point about taxes. Tell me about that.
Yeah, well, taxes, are they're not hard, right? People are scared of taxes. There's a lot of softwares out there. Most people use TurboTax, right? But you still don't understand taxes. So when I got started with taxes, to me, there were, very basic taxes, starting helping people understand taxes. Throughout the years, as you may know, they get more complicated because we get different scenarios. We get investors, we get business owners, and everything from taxes, it's a range. Taxes is a whole system, right? It's not just file your taxes and die.
Well, that's true. But Benjamin Franklin did say it best. There's only two guarantees in life, death and taxes. I don't want to sell that type of real estate. So
Correct.
I'm here to do the taxes.
Yes. So taxes, it was something that I did. I'm in a communications major, so I love marketing. I love PR. So for me, taxes, I opened it as a business. It was something small. I was still doing other things with my business, with marketing. I worked for a lot of people in Miami. I was running a lot of the PR stuff in Miami. I worked in South Beach, developing business with Nikki Beach. I have a history. I worked for Telemundo and Univision, so I know a lot of the back end of marketing. But during that time, when in 2008, it was a really tough time for me to kind of go work in PR or marketing during that time.
Yeah, no one had money to spend for PR or marketing
Yes.
when we're in a recession. So how do you make a living at that point?
Well, taxes are recession proof.
Yeah, it's true.
Right?
Yep.
So even though, things in the economy might not always be flourishing, there's cycles and everything. With taxes, it's something that, even though, business, real estate might not be booming, your stocks, your Bitcoin, different, seasons for every business. Taxes, January 20th, it's called tax season every year since before I was born and you were born.
Yeah, all we do is see the advertisements every year. The minute January 1st starts, it's TurboTax, H&R Block, Jackson. It's all the big box brands trying to sell their product between then and April 15th, and they literally shut all the marketing off. So in theory, there kind of is a season. I was thinking about this earlier, actually, with some of my new tax pros that are in the firm and how they get to deal with the season of taxes and, educate them on, hey, we're going to get a couple big booms, save some money. It might be a little tight around Christmas because not very many people are doing their taxes now, but they are doing planning. So we're trying to convert that winter season to more planning for some of our other people in our firm. But yeah, I totally get it. The season thing is luckily it's annually and it's not longer than that. There's no real depression of taxes.
Correct. So for example, for us, so it is a season-based career, which, there's a peak of a season. And as we know, there's an end. And then, for example, for me, what I wanted to share with you is education. And, like you were saying earlier, how I'm doing things a little bit different in the industry. I like to do a paradigm shift. I like to be a pattern interrupt. I like to shake things up a little bit, right? Because people look at me, you do taxes? I'm like, yes, I do.
Yeah, and I do them really well, actually.
Because Pretty doesn't do taxes. Smart does.
Yeah, we've had some conversations,
Yes.
At your office about some of the things and people that you work with and work on. And I'm like, it's so funny how like we talked about it and said it specifically. You know, realtors can work on things together. Lawyers can close cases together. Why aren't tax pros working on things together? They kind of get like a little bit like mine is mine and yours, and it's like maybe you really are better at this end of it than I am, and we can work on something together. And it's kind of unique because since our last conversation, I've literally not stopped thinking and talking about your idea of what you're doing with the service provider idea and all this marketing aspect to it. And I'm like, it's a unique idea. It's very, very empowering.
Thank you for that, David. I do appreciate that because, you know, since I realized that I love marketing, I'm very good at marketing. I'm very good at taxes. It's a gift, right? Because I love people and I love to serve people. So, and I give value because to me, it was never like I was this tax person. I don't even consider myself a tax person. I have a tax business that I happen to be really good at, that I happen to start with 0 clients, and I happen to know how to market very good in a community. I came to Las Vegas with nothing. I started at 0. I started, if you know Las Vegas, I started on Valley View and Cyrus, Penwood, okay? That is like, coming from LA, for me, it was very humbling. And the way that our community, the Latino community, supported me, I honestly never said I'm going to get rich off this. Like that was never a thought in my brain. You know, it was just, I'm going to do this business. I'll have a business. I'll do other businesses. This is one part of it, which I'm very blessed and grateful because having a skill of taxes at a young age, starting a business, most businesses fail. Most people fail in life because they don't understand their own business.
Yeah, so true. What a powerful thought. Most people really don't.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Restaurants, you see it. You know, I see people put so much money into a restaurant. I'm like, that thing's gonna fail.
Yeah,
like,
they put all the money in the walls and in the color and in
Yes!
the development and the idea, and they didn't put any into marketing.
yes.
They didn't put anything into their menu. They didn't put
Yes.
anything into their team. And how are you going to operate the business without the team and the marketing? I mean, this is what you need.
You know, so I feel like now that I'm at this point in my life, you know, I'm older and more experienced, and that's why I went from a tax preparer to a CEO, right? You go from like preparing taxes to becoming a CEO. What does that mean, right? So many people have an identity of like, I am just this. And it's hard to shift, especially with the type of career that we have, from this identity over to an identity of like, I'm a boss because like now that I'm at this point in my life, I don't have employees. I have partners that I've developed. I have developed businesses for people that work for me, you know, single mothers, people, you know, mom with kids, you know, that want to be entrepreneurs. I'm all about empowering every single person that works with me because I believe in a win-win mindset. Because if they win, I win. And I get to be at these podcasts. I get to be at these places and I still have my business operating. I don't need to be in the operating of the business, right? Because there's stages. Tony Robbins said it best. There's different ages of your business. Are you a baby? Are you a teenager? Or are you a mature adult? Because you know, in those teenage years, you're a rebel.
Yeah,
you know, you make
try
some
to
money.
Figure yourself out a little bit.
You
You
make
don't know
some
who you are
money. You want to
yet.
go to the club. You live in Las Vegas. You want to wild out. Let me tell you something. It's social media will kill and destroy your reputation in a second. So be careful out there, ladies and men, because your reputation is everything, and people have phones.
I heard it when I was 18 years old. I got actually 19. I got fired from a job. I was not the best employee at. I was an auto mechanic at like 18. I really liked cars, and I had this like passion for cars. And so the boss told me one day, he says, "You know what, Dave?" He goes, "You're a really great guy. I really like you a lot. I got to tell you one thing though. Doesn't matter how many attaboys and gold stars you got. It just took one oh shit. Sorry, you got to go."
Yeah.
The reputation was everything.
Yeah, absolutely.
It really was true.
Yeah. Especially, you know, we work in a financial industry, you know, in my business, I'm very blessed that I'm rated top in Las Vegas in a business that's not easy. It is, you know, I'm dealing with people's lives, you know, their business. That's what they work for every day.
You're dealing in an industry where most people want to write a 1-star review and a complaint when they're not happy with what their bill was to the IRS that you had nothing to do with.
Correct.
You didn't deal with what they did when they were holdings a year ago. You didn't deal with when they went exempt and tell them it was okay to do it. And guess what? They're going to give you a 1-star review because they don't want to pay the government. And it's nothing that we did. They won't actually give you the 5-star review for the education you taught them to fix it for the next year. Yeah. That's the backwards end of our industry that they're really, we are an underappreciated and undervalued industry in that respect.
And I do agree with that. I do agree because, you know, like I was saying earlier, we are, for example, the people that I work, tax preparation people, you know, they are valuable. We are very valuable in our industry. You know, we might not be a CPA, but from my experience, most CPAs don't really have a relationship like we do with our clients.
Well, I was always taught CPA stands for couldn't pass arithmetic and copy, paste, and assemble. They don't really like doing the work. They're just a glorified bookkeeper. They're very educated on how a profit and loss and a balance sheet works. They're not even really a CFO that can explain it to the client to tell them how to operate the business. They're more of just a numbers creator that can just, they don't even, I mean, they know how to explain it, but it's at such a high level. One of the qualities that you and I got, similarly, from our history of our family and our background and growing up and learning taxes at such a young age, we can convey the information to the client at a very digestible entry-level number. Look, when you learned how to do taxes and I learned how to do taxes, we were 4, 5, and 6 years old. It was like reading and writing on paper, right? When these CPAs learned it and enrolled agents learned it, they learned it at college from a professor at 22 years old at a very highly educated and upper developed level. And it's not something that a common person like our clients can ever understand. CPAs are really good for, a huge corporation that have a CFO they need to communicate with and do, planning in that respect. They have a huge value and a place for them. You want to do an evaluation, an exit strategy, anything like that, incredible. They're not here to do your taxes. And I guarantee you, I get 5 calls a week in the middle of January to April. And that season that we were talking about, are you a CPA? How much do you cost to do taxes? My answer is always to them, I have a CPA that works at the firm. I can put you in front of his desk. It's going to cost you 30% more. Do you want to do that or you want me to do your taxes? What do you want?
There you go. You hit it right in the head right there. And so that's why, with my business right now, what I'm doing, I'm teaching, I'm an ERO, I'm a service bureau. And so what I did was we worked together with a big firm and we have a software, 101.tax, that I've been doing for the last 4 years. And I did it with education in mind and AI. So I was able to incorporate during that ChatGPT boom. I went to an event with one of my mentors and he said something that I still remember to this day. I can hear his words. He said this very clearly. He's like, your tax business is not going to make you multi-millions. Your software is going to make you.
SaaS business, yeah. Service as a software.
Yes.
Or software as a service.
Correct. So what does that mean, right? And I was like, I understood it, right? Because I'm a marketing person. So I love creating, marketing. I work with social media influencers. I love that because to me, it's like, attention is everything. It's like the new currency, right? It's like a yellow banana. What do you think? Yellow banana, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's people actually really look at Dave's not smart because he doesn't have 1,000 Instagram followers. Really? I didn't think that's how this works, but okay.
How's your bank account, Dave? No.
It's doing pretty good.
Okay, which is what really matters, right? At the end of the day, to me, social media is a platform. We were saying, it's like the Industrial Revolution. Before all of this exploded, right? There was timelines in our humanity where we didn't have a car. We had a horse. We had horse and carriage. And then you get the first
Someone
car.
made a wheel.
Somebody made a wheel. And
somebody made an engine.
And it's just shifts in where we're at right now in this timeline. And I love AI. I love technology. I love systems. So I don't want to sit on my desk and deal with 100 new tax preparation and sit there and file them when I can have a partner. She's under my software. She's under my mentorship. Guess what? Let me just do the math really quick. If I have 5 new people under me, and let's say they all produce 100 new clients, how many clients did I just add to my book of business?
Seems like it's 500.
There you go. Did I do more work or did it take me one to many?
It was the second one. It took you one to many. I mean,
correct.
Look, you created your version, which is incredible, of a amazing, in theory, multi-level marketing ideology because that person who's underneath you, at some point, their 100 people is going to turn into 500 people.
Correct.
And it's not going to be enough for them to handle. And they're going to go sign somebody else up to work underneath them and pick up the same 101 tax program and figure out how to do the same thing. And it's just going to be a waterfall effect. I mean, it's incredibly thought out. I think it's genius.
And you know what's even better than that? That I give them what I've learned, and I'm taking all of this information with marketing and social media and advertising because I don't want people to be dependent on me, actually. I want people to go out there and generate more business, generate a bookkeeping, generate another source of income. So I'm actually empowering people, not just to understand and file taxes as a regular tax preparer. I want you to own it. I want you to be educated. This is a legacy that I'm doing because I feel and I know, just like yesterday, my intern graduated from UNLV as an accountant major.
Yes.
Yay! Immigrant parents. She was my client at 9 years old. Somebody stole her Social Security. Okay, disgusting. Because, you know, you go to these hole-in-the-wall places that want to give you, like, the most refund, and then they steal your kid's identity.
We had 3 cases this year that we had to fix.
3.
Of not that type of identity theft directly with a social, but we had fraudulent refunds that came in. I was telling you about this.
Yeah.
$150, $250, and $75,000 that were all in question about to get funded and then get these people audited that we had to turn around and do fraud protection on. Thanks to, you know, Brian over in the Vegas office. But it was it's a horrible tragedy that's coming to people. I mean, even if you think back, one of my best friends 15 years ago at this point, I don't know if you remember this, but Sprouts had their whole employee portfolio cyber attacked by one of the people in HR clicking like a button on one of those like phishing emails. My buddy's had an IP pin for 15 years because he had a job somewhere. It's not even like he did anything wrong. He was just caught in a sweep.
Yeah.
But identity theft and fraud is a horrible problem with our industry. Correct. If your tax pro meets you at a Starbucks with a laptop, run.
Say it again, David, for the people in the back.
If your tax pro meets you at Starbucks, run the other direction. It's like not even a real place. If they meet you at their home and they have a dedicated home office, like I'm not a hater. They meet you online, awesome. Let's take into some consideration what reality is, because a lot of times when it's too good to be true, it's too good to be true.
They're called ghost preparers.
Oh yeah, no, we report ghost preparers. We had somebody early on in my career in San Fernando. We had somebody that was our client for like 3 or 4 years, and then they went off to go somewhere else, and they had a ghost preparer steal their refund from their child dependent credit. Yeah. And they go, "How come my refund was only $1,000?" What do you mean your refund was like $6,000? They took $5,000.
Wow, disgusting. Anyways, I'm not about that.
No.
Like, I'm not about that stuff because to me, I have a bigger goal. And I always tell people, like, why don't you want to do this? Or I'm like, I have a big goal. My goal is to get people educated for themselves because I feel like, you know, not to talk about our education system, which in Las Vegas is like the worst. There's not a class ever. I didn't take a class in high school, you know, where they taught me basic taxes, like 101 taxes, like what is a W-2? Most people don't even know what a W-2 stands for. Do you know what a W-2 means?
Do you know how to fill out a W-4?
No. They don't teach us this.
No.
Right?
They don't.
So they force something upon you. And then it's like, if I wanted to be a Michelin 5-star chef, I don't know. I mean, I can cook, I think, but I'm not a 5-star chef.
Right. Like, you got to go to chef school.
Yes.
And like, you got to get trained to do these things and get to the qualifications to be certified.
Correct.
And the problem is that they don't. So, unfortunately, what I've seen and you can tell me if this is your experience as well, I always get the first-time kid, like 18 to 21 or 16 to 21, getting their first job, and they owe money the first year, and they go, "What happened?" And I go, "Let me ask you a question. Who helped you fill out your W-4?" Yeah. And they go, "The old guy at work or the old lady at work." And I go, "Well, they told you to put married and 3 kids because that's what they had."
Yeah.
And they never actually do it right because they don't read the form. They just ask the next person. The next person doesn't tell them what to do.
Again, it goes back to like education.
Yeah.
And for me, education is everything. Like, to me, education is the key that God gave us. Knowledge is power. You know, it's not about the university. It's not about, I'm not talking about that type of knowledge. I'm talking about, like, if your kid asks you, or somebody that doesn't have, you know, our experience, "Hey, Dad, how do I fill out that form for my first job?" "Hey, son, this is what a dependent means according to the way we fill out our stuff. You know, there's a single status, there's a married, there's a head of household. You know, son, it's your first year. You know, it's called single zero."
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know taxes for a long time until I started doing taxes. I would give my parents the taxes. I was in college. I was like, $100, yeah, refund, you know, like, that's awesome. I don't know. It's like, you know, but it wasn't about that. So I feel like, you know, having my intern graduate, she's going to go out and get her CPA. And I love the drive because she loves taxes. And you know that, right? Either you love taxes or you hate taxes.
And having that personal effect from that, you know, experience when she was young is going to be something that lives with her forever.
Yes.
It's like the person who becomes a realtor and they go, dude, the first realtor I had was horrible. I had to do all the work. They didn't know what they were doing, and I became a realtor. It's like, well, yeah, that's why you wanted to do it better for everybody else.
Yes.
That experience of her having that problem is going to be something that is powerfully impacting for her forever, and that's awesome.
And it's sad. It's sad. I asked her. I was fourth year, I believe, at the university with the accounting degree, and she's like, I haven't learned this. I haven't learned the basics taxation stuff.
No, they don't, because they're going to teach you the principles. They're going to teach you more of the skills of the bookkeeping, the what's a profit and loss, what's a balance sheet, what is an asset, what's a liability.
Their theory.
Yeah, they're not teaching you implementation.
Correct.
They're not teaching them what a 1040 is. They're not teaching them what, forms mean. They don't tell them how to actually fill them out, or what a credit is, or refundable or non-refundable, or how any of these things even actually work that people call and ask me about every day. How many solar calls did you have this week? Because it's the end of the year and they go, can I put my solar on? And does it count? What's the percentage? Yeah. I mean, I had 3 of them, 2 of them back to back, without an exaggeration, within 30 minutes.
So I'll tell you a really quick one. So I had a pilot call me. He's like, I'm so happy. I just retired. I bought the Tesla. I bought the solar panels. I'm like, awesome. I'm so excited. He's like, I sold the property. I'm ready to get on my credits. I'm like, all right, let's go. Because, pilots usually make about $300,000 average. And they get about $100,000 withheld. Yeah, that sounds crazy, right? But that's the reality. And I'm like, did you have a W-2 for 2025? He's like, no, because I retired and I just got everything done.
So where's your 1099 for your retirement?
Exactly. So he's probably not going to get all those credits.
That's where they get gobbled up or disallowed because you made too much money.
Yeah. No, he doesn't have a W-2 with withholdings.
Yeah, so even worse.
Yeah. And he was like heartbroken. He's like, I literally waited to retire to do all of this. And it's really sad because he really retired and he's on a $70,000 income from his stuff. But because there's no withholdings, there's no credits back.
Yeah.
And it's, and I'm like, Merry Christmas. He's like, you broke my heart. I'm like, no, I apologize, but the lack of education. And this is like a high earner that I'm like, if you would have brought that in 2024 before you actually retired, we would have got you $100,000 refund probably. Right? I mean, he did all this stuff. He strategized correctly. He bought the solar panels.
He just did it 1 year off.
1 year off. And he was completely...
He did all the research, but he didn't ask you.
I mean, he wasn't our client. He just found us.
That's why I said he didn't ask you.
Yes. And I'm like, I apologize. I'm like, I have to be honest with you. And he was like, I just can't believe it. I'm like, I know. I'm sorry. I'll see how I can help you. But you know what I mean? That's what it is.
Yeah.
And so...
That's why these exact things like podcasts that get to live longer that people can watch and information and education that you can put out and store for people to get in later, blogs, any of it is just a way to help that go so much better. I always say to my team, going back to what you were saying, you don't have to have the answer to everything. You just have to know where to get it. And if these people aren't trying to even get it, that's the sad part.
Yeah. And it's just, again, goes back to lack of education, lack of awareness, and lack of people are so scared of taxes. It's such a fear-mongering, thing. Like those 3 letters are like crucial, and death. I feel like it's like
people are afraid of the IRS.
Death.
People are afraid of taxes.
Yes,
it's just exactly what it boils down to.
We have one of my girls. She has a nurse, and the lady will not open her IRS letters, and she's like, nope. Here you go. You open them. I want nothing to do with this. I mean, that. And
you're opening the letter telling her, hey, you got a credit back. They're giving you money. It's a check.
She's like, no. And, it's so interesting. That's why for me, I guess I'm not attached to it emotionally because I didn't come in from that perspective of like taxes and all this. I was just really good at business. I love business.
I can be apathetic with the idea of a person feeling for their client. I know that myself and my team, like when the client gets a notice or gets, a problem, or they get told that they owe money, like in the situation of the pilot, myself and my team, and I'm sure you do too, empathize with them and feel bad and go, I want to do everything I can. There's also a point where I have to remind myself and my team, I didn't get the money. I didn't make the decision. They did. And so it's only my job to help them make a better decision. I can't fix history. I can't fix the past. I can only guide them going forward. And that is the only thing that makes it feel a little bit better in the end, because a lot of times delivering the bad news does not feel good.
Correct. Yeah. So, there's a lot to it. So, with everything moving forward now, with technology, with a lot of tax preparers probably giving up because they're not getting up to speed with what's going on, like every day there's something new at the rate of technology, the way it's going,
Yeah, that old mom and pop store on the corner is not going to be here in 5 or 10 years.
Exactly. I've been in this area for 15 years and I've seen literally 10 offices open and they're not there anymore. And you can look it up. I mean, I'm still there. I'm like the last woman standing, right?
Yeah.
Because I shifted. I didn't, there was a big shift during COVID. There's always seasons in a business.
Yeah, we shifted a little bit too.
You
We started doing a lot more advisory work.
Yes.
Started doing a lot more tax planning, and just started working with people that needed that higher level of expertise. Because I think we identified and agree with you, and also that, or at least myself, at some point, that person that's going to just click and scan their W-2 and is going to go somewhere to do it. They don't need me. They want to ask me some questions or not, or they want to stick around because they're family or friends, but at some point, the economics behind it is not going to be there anymore.
I agree. But you shifted with that. You saw that. It's like we foresee the things, So that's the same thing I had to do. So that's why when I had the opportunity to work alongside our partnership and develop my method of teaching, I'm very simple. I like simplicity. I like easy. And that's why my clients feel at ease with me. I have $1 million clients, but I make it explainable, and that's how I like to teach my team. That's how I like to teach my clients, and I like to teach my mentees. It's very simple. Let's not overcomplicate things.
What was I know you just did your training with some of your people earlier this week, your ladies. What was some of the most impactful things that they took away from it, you think?
They said that I helped them believe in themselves.
Just giving them that confidence probably made them 10x or really exponentially grow their business. It's something very, very empowering when they need to, everyone needs it.
It's like a shift. It's like I feel like I'm a can opener. I just thought about this right now. I'm like opening you up, and then you're like, surprise, there's something
look what's really there. Look what's really there.
I just thought of that. That's a great analogy because people we don't see because we're in a shell. So when you have to open it, you can't open. Have you ever opened a tuna can? Does it go fast or slow?
It's slow. It's not easy.
But then when you open it up, you still have to crack it a little bit, right? To go back. Because it's still stuck there, right?
Yep.
And that's how it is with us. We're stuck.
Your education's almost more of a coaching.
Yes. But I have an offer. And that's why that's my legacy. My legacy isn't about me, and because I know I'm going to die. I mean, we're all going to die.
Yep.
So if I can impact, my intern to be the best CPA out there, real estate, and like really learn, because she learned from the bottom up, and that's something that's priceless.
Agreed.
When you really are in the trenches of like learning and you get to the top, it's like when you're climbing a mountain and you're at the bottom and you want to give up midway because you're like, oh my god, it's so hard. You see the mountain so high up, right? And you're like, man, like how much longer? If you ever take your kid with you, like they complain, right? Like,
are we there yet?
Are we there yet? But then I always complain too when I go to hikes. I'm like, oh my god, I want to just get off this damn thing. And then I get to the top and then I'm posting for Instagram. I'm like, yeah, I made it.
I got the spot.
But you don't show the midway, and you don't show you fighting with your husband because he's like pushing you.
And you don't see yourself stopping to drink the water and sit down and rest for 5 minutes.
And complaining, but you see, the picture at the top, and and that's what social media is, or that's what any platform is. You see the highlights of life of business owners. I've had so many things happen and people get mad at me, or, oh, well, you look a certain way. I feel good with myself. I feel confident, and I'm going to show up as a woman that I am because I know my worth. I know my identity. I'm not going to be the number one tax person. That's not my identity. That's not even what I want to do. That's not my vision. I have a bigger goal. Somebody's like, you don't want to be an EA and you can do this. I don't want to do that. Good luck. I support everybody. I love education. I absolutely agree people should be educated. Me personally.
We met in education.
We met because I love education.
Yeah.
Like I love books. I love reading. I love understanding, what it is. But my goal is a bigger goal. And that's what people don't understand. And I'm going to use social media. I'm going to use every platform to get that out there, to empower people and make that shift within yourself. Because when you unlock that little can and you push forward the resistance, you're going to find your surprise. And that's what I do.
See everything you're actually capable of.
Exactly. And it's layers. It's like an onion. You get to a point, success without a purpose or without like a legacy, like it means nothing, because you can have all the money in the world, but if your soul's not fulfilled, you know, it's like Vegas. It was a desert. It was like nothing here. Now you drive around in Vegas. What do you see? I see the wind. I see like the fountain blue. You see like this amazing vision that Mr. Wynn had.
Yeah,
you know?
you can see the future. You can see what's here. You can see the
Yes.
growth. You can see what's being developed.
Yes.
One of the things that I love about Vegas and being out here and having the office out here is watching not only the growth, but watching the reinvention.
Yes.
And watching, like, look, we grew up in LA. You and I both know Hollywood Boulevard looks the same today as it did 20 years ago when we were kids.
Yeah.
You really want to go to the same old, Pantages Theater or go, Crypto, all these theaters and all these things, they all look the same. Disneyland, Universal, they don't change. They're timeless.
Yes.
There is beauty in being timeless.
Yes.
But let me tell you something. There is nothing like reinvention. Because when you see the reinvention and you see what's being developed and you see what's coming ahead, you see what's changing, where else are you going to be more cutting edge than here? We can see what is coming ahead because if every friggin' hotel that has billions of dollars and millions of dollars to spend on a person who's going to tell them the right way to do it, shouldn't we follow their lead? If they're doing the social media or if they're doing, come on. I mean, they're giving us the blueprint.
Yes.
Follow it.
I just saw Steve Wynn right now do a little reel on Instagram. This guy doesn't need to do that.
No.
This guy is mega wealthy. He's the creator. And that's where I just learned that from. He just literally said that. He has a system, right? And that's why I'm an advocate for system, because you can be a tax preparer. If you don't have a system, you're going to be stuck behind your desk. Like everybody says, you're not supposed to look like this. You're supposed to be like wearing your glasses and you're supposed to be like, no, I'm reinventing the wheel. Like you don't have to be that, and I always tell like people like, oh, you don't sell real estate. You look like a real estate. No, I'm like, I walk into all these real estate events. I walk into any room and guess what? People are looking at us like, you're the tax girls, you're the book. Like, yes, that's us. So I'm like a shift in perspective. I'm a shift in identity. I'm a shift in the rooms because I come and change the atmosphere. Right? And most people want to follow people. That's why they're called followers. It's harder to be a leader because when you're a leader, you have to see the vision before it's even there. You got to see the palm trees when it's dry and desert and there's no pipes underneath. And you got to see the whales of water underneath. And that's what I'm doing. I'm seeing the whales before they're even there because people don't understand. Like I have my team here. They didn't understand my vision. I was like, I'm fighting through something that I don't even know what I'm creating because I don't want to be like everybody else. I'm creating something that's even better, but I have to believe in it. And it's taking me time. And there was moments I wanted to quit. There's moments I don't want to do this. I don't want to teach taxes. So when I discovered that if I like shift my identity, my perspective, like I'm not teaching, I'm actually creating new business owners. And that shift in me was like, all right, bring it on. I was like, I should have been doing this a long time ago. Like, because I love business. I love it.
Yeah, because someone's already coming in. They already have their entry-level qualifications before they see you or need you. So they already did their, P10 or CTEC or enrolled agent or CPA. And they're going, hey, like maybe I worked for somebody for a couple of years, but I don't know what I'm doing on my own. What is the system that I need to go and do this on my own? And that's like incredible that you can make a duplicatable, replicatable system that you can provide anywhere. I mean, it's really, business in a box. It's a good one.
And there's no competition. I have no competition because I'm creating something. And when you're a creator, yes. And like the secret sauce is the energy. You can't replicate energy.
I call it the culture at
the culture.
Tax Shack, but it's the same thing. We have people. I've had people that are fully qualified and not of the culture, and we got to let them go. Like, you know what? You're just not of the culture.
Yeah. Tell me about your Tax Shack merch. Like, how cool is that? Like, I was so excited. Like, that is so like amazing. I love innovators.
Yeah. So we started a shop, taxshack.shop. And we have hats for the deduction daddies and the money mommies, for tax pros and anyone who's involved with the Tax Shack, and for people like that are in your family and want to be a member of your club, like the 101 Tax Group. Because the idea is how can I? The idea came from prior to going to an educational seminar. I said, how can I be engaging with general public? We're here for a tax seminar. Taxes are not sexy and exciting. Let me make some hats and share them with people.
Yeah.
I made 20 hats. I came out, I handed them all out, money mommies and deduction daddies. And it started a wave of people just talking about it because it wasn't just my company name or your company name. Like, if I wore a hat that says Sonia's Taxes, or you wore a hat that said Tax Shack, like, no one knows what a Sonia's Taxes is, and no one knows what a Tax Shack is. But at least a Money Mommy or a Deduction Daddy became conversational. Like, wait, what is that? So it was a fun way to make the idea of taxes common again and digestible. Back to where we started with how we grew up and where we came from. How do I make it conversational where people just want to talk about taxes?
Yeah. And you know what's another good point? I just thought about this. There's so much stuff online. I had somebody that came to my training and she's like, I saw this and I heard this and can you take your kids off? And I'm like, just stop right there. I'm like, you never hear me share my tax stuff. Because there's so much deception online. There is good tips, right? But you guys, there's a lot of stuff that social media is not where you're going to get certain stuff.
Social media is very threatening. We talked about this all in the past. When the people stand up on the soapbox and they tell you how to get an LLC and how to go to the bank and how to, get a loan and how to get all this money, they don't tell you how to pay it back, and they don't tell you how to deal with your LLC in your local state.
Oh, but that doesn't matter. Go cash out 10 credit cards from American Airlines and American Express, and then you're going to get all this money, and you're going to go pay me $10,000 for my course.
Right. So all they're telling you is how to commit bank fraud, how to screw up your credit, and how to give them 10 grand.
Like, teach them business. Teach them a tax form, please. Like, teach them a P&L. Teach people profit and loss statements. Teach them how to read their bank statement.
Or at least give them the follow-up sentence.
Yes.
Do some education on how this is going to affect you locally.
Or like, I heard about cost segregation. I'm like, let me tell you something about, like, you're giving me advice from somebody you learned. Let me see your stuff. Like, where's your paperwork? Like, or they go to Wyoming and get their stuff. I'm like, oh, goodness.
Oh, I had a guy like that.
Yes.
Recently. We had a guy who came in with like 8 LLCs, one to protect another one, to protect another one, to do this.
A holding company from
Yeah. And I'm like, have you ever been to Wyoming? Like, what are you doing in Wyoming? Like, it just doesn't make sense to me sometimes on how these people operate.
And that's the thing about being a good business owner, a bit, an influential person, having a platform like social media. I know I love everybody. I'm not a hater. I love sharing. I reshare people's stuff when I, and I do my due diligence, even if I post something about a new bill or about an update, and there's keywords when you understand this business. If you're proposing something, is that final?
No.
Exactly. It's like, you guys are calling me about a proposed something check or money. I'm like, is it approved?
No, that's some of the biggest.
They're called clickbaits. I mean, I'm not against it.
Trends are always about that. The money. It's always about the money.
It's always about the money. At the end of the day, everybody. I heard somebody told me everybody's hustling. Everybody's hustle looks different. That's all it is. Behind the scenes, we're all in the same business together. But the way you show up about it is, how you're going to be about it. And one thing about it is, energy doesn't lie. When you do the right thing, I don't need to be something that I'm not, because at the end of the day, when I look in the mirror, I can see the woman in the mirror and I'm happy.
Well, do the right thing is kind of why I named my book, Be Good or Be Good at It.
There you go.
If you're not going to be good, you better be really good at what you're not doing.
Exactly. I can't be giving advice on things that I don't feel, comfortable with, regardless if it's online or in person.
The advice idea for our industry, I feel like has 2 layers to it. And if someone calls up and wants me to give them what I would say in a speech or in an Instagram reel, to give them general education on a topic, I have no problem with that.
Correct.
If they want to understand what depreciating a vehicle actually means and how it would work, no problem. If you want to know how it's going to apply to you, that's called tax planning, and I'll send you the bill when we're done. It's no problem.
It's called invoice. I will send you an invoice.
Yeah, and then we can have that conversation, because the problem is that line, when it gets blurred, that's when tax pros get burnt out.
Yes, correct.
That's when one of the biggest compliments that you get and that I get is we're available, we answer our phone, we answer our calls, we're not hiding and gone on vacation after April 15th. That's like the biggest, one of the biggest magnetic grabs that we have to our businesses. I get phone calls all day long. The guy didn't answer the phone. He hasn't sent me my shit in 2 weeks. Can you help me?
Yeah.
Of course we can. I'll get it done in 24 hours.
Exactly.
Like, send me whatever you sent him. Let's get it going.
Yeah.
I think that the communication is a huge flaw to a lot of our industry from the burnout.
Yeah. I agree. The burnout is real. There's only so many taxes I can do. There's so many clients I can see. And so when you get to another level, there's levels to everything. There's a level of my work, and it's like, I have certain level entry positions at my office because I can't do it all, and I don't want to.
What's your comfortable number for one person to do for tax filings for a year? Like, if you had one person sitting at the desk, like, what do you expect them to pull?
I mean, I think I can't even think. I think they do about 200.
I was going to say like 2 to 4.
Yeah,
2 to
right?
500,
Is that about
like,
right? I think that's, I mean, my intern did, I think about 200.
That's what I'm saying. Like, there's some, it takes time to do the
Yes.
work in a timely fashion. If you want it done right, quality is got to be over quantity.
Correct. I agree.
And at a certain point, that also adds to the burnout when you have, an extra 100 clients and you start getting that many extra notices that you got to respond to, or client calls you got to deal with. At some point, you can't be a pig. You have to share the wealth. You got to,
of course,
help,
absolutely,
get everything done and bring in more people to help you.
Exactly. And so that's where, for us, social media was a very big factor because we were, to me, taxes was just always a part of, my business. And then going to a lot of these events with social media, and it's like, whoa, you guys have no idea. You guys are paying people $25,000 to invest your money. I had a girl, she spent $80,000 on seminars and coaches, and she would cry.
That she had no money?
Well, she had no money, but she didn't understand. I'm like, did you open the box that the guy sold you? No, I haven't opened them. I'm like, you guys, like, literally, like, I'm not a hater, but I've seen people like put their energy into other people in like these grandiose ideas of like making wealth. You don't even understand your taxes. Like, hello, like, how are you going to sit here? You don't even know what your business entity is. I ask business owners, okay, I have an LLC. Okay, what's your business entity with the IRS? I'm an LLC and I have a business. Well, what's your entity when you have your business?
What's the name?
What's
Show
the
me
classification?
CP575. Show me your articles.
They don't understand like what I said. They just said, I have an LLC. And I'm like, okay, well, what's with the IRS? We have different classifications of entity, but you're paying somebody $25,000 to show you how to flip houses. Great, amazing. I'm all about it. Wealth is amazing, real estate, right? But like understanding how to diversify your portfolio, how to diversify like your assets, like understanding like a trust. There's so many factors to this game. And that's where I come in as a really like genuine open book person where I'm like, all right, let's help you. I had a client I met at an event. She owed $18,000 to the IRS, W-2, and she had real estate flips. It was October 14th. Okay. He knows. He understands. If you guys, my tax people out there, you know what I'm talking about. October 15th. I think it was like 10 a.m. And I was like, send me that right now. I'll go back to the office. Let me take a look. Mm-hmm. There was no... It's just straight, upload. The woman owed $18,000. She had businesses. She had her LLCs. She has rentals. She has Airbnb. Can I share how much her refund was?
Oh yeah, of course.
$18,000.
Oh, so you flipped it over? Yeah.
Do you think she's a keeper?
Oh, of course.
And do you think she sent me clients?
Of course. I was going to ask you about some of these success stories. I have a couple fun ones. Early on, I had a friend who we had to use disaster relief for. Uh-huh. There was a fire near their house.
Yes.
They pulled money out of a 401k, went to a different house, sold the house, the whole move. He was a TurboTax guy. Known him for, my buddy, known him for years. He's telling me, Dave, it's simple. I got a couple kids in a W-2. I can handle this.
Yes.
Hey, Dave, why do I owe $30,000? Well, you took out $120 from your retirement. Let's figure this out. It's additional income. Long story short, with a disaster relief, we flipped it all around, and I got him like a $17,000 refund. So he went from owing 21 to getting like 17 back. It was like a $38,000 flip.
I hope you charge him good.
We charge them appropriately.
Yay! You know what? That's right? That's what I believe in, and that's another thing, again, we're going back to education, going back to all of this people, we can all want the shiny objects, right? Like we all want that lifestyle and we all want that at the end of the day. You know what? It's all about, really helping people understand, their stuff, right? And like become wealthy. And like this person now can sleep at night. And it's not talking bad about TurboTax. It's just that's a software that you upload your information to.
Yeah, it's not going to talk to you. It's not going to give you information. It's not going to educate you. There's no planning. There's no conversation. It's a perfect service for people that need it.
Correct.
It's not for business owners.
Correct.
It's not for people that have, investments. It's not for people with rental property. It's not for, look, if you're a kid, you got one W-2. It's not even for a college student.
No. Especially if your parents can claim you.
And
you're still at home.
If you're 24 years old, work at Starbucks, and just have that one W-2, go for it.
Yeah, absolutely. I never pressure anybody. I have people, but again, it's just education. Explaining to them, like your friend, right? And it's like, or this lady that's very plugged into real estate and they know all this, how to flip and how to buy and short term and rentals and everything. It's amazing. But then again, like now why would you owe $18,000 when you had all your stuff? Because nobody explains to you. And here I come last minute, which was like super last minute for tax language because they're due October 15th.
They had hours to do the work and you still did it.
And because, we were able to get the profit and loss statement. I mean, it's a lot, but again, it goes back to actually like investing in yourself. And that's what I guess that's my biggest takeaway from everything and sharing with everybody here is that, when you invest in yourself, you're always like learning something new and then even empowers people, right? If you understand your taxes, I feel like that's empowering.
So it is very empowering. What's your favorite success story? What's your biggest like tax savings story?
I have so many. I can tell you.
What's your favorite one?
Recently, I had somebody that was suicidal. She came in a few months ago and she had gone through a really bad separation, breakup, and she had gotten a lot of money from the casino. Being in Las Vegas, there's a lot of people that gamble here. It's common. She won 120. She hit a jackpot.
Okay.
And she didn't realize she had the withholdings taken out.
Oh, so she was lucky.
She didn't know because she didn't realize because she had done this a couple times. So when she was opening her tax portal, which is a new thing that we can help you with. If you're watching, if you guys need help, and also David knows their levies. And she was just like, I can't even, like, I don't even know. Like, it was just so bad where she was at. It was such a low place. And my intern and I were like, all right, sit down. Like, we got this. Because it was like $30,000. She was just like, it wasn't even about the money. It's the way she was feeling at the moment she came in despair.
And didn't know what to do.
Totally lost. Separate. It was just a lot. And, we gathered all the information. We gathered the W-2s. We gathered, she works a W-2 job and we gathered the gambling winnings. And she actually ended up getting $30,000 back.
Yes.
Because she had the withholdings and because of the standard deduction from, she was lucky. And, just seeing people's spirits like feel back alive in that moment of like, whoa, despair, and there's a lot of moments like that in our business, just kind of like, it's going to be okay. Kind of like we're that person. And that to me is like success because it's not always about the refund. It's a peace of mind or somebody. Okay, here's a really good one. One of our clients, they found us on TikTok. I really don't use TikTok much, but it's a powerful platform. Again, in despair because they actually got really big on social media and were making a lot of money. These people made over $500,000 in like a short period of time, right? And that for that type of short period of time, you get a lot of money. You're just like, whoa.
They're wild.
They're wild. Like,
they're spending like crazy.
You hit it like you bought a house cash. And like this happened for about 4 years and they hadn't done their taxes. It was over 500. Actually, it was at about $700,000 each year. And their business was booming. They're like, okay, we'll handle it later. We'll take care of it later. They were to the point when they found us on TikTok video that they were going to lose everything, their house and everything. And it was really like, my client could not look at me because she was in such like panic mode that, we took care of it. It took some time to handle it and it all cleared away.
That's the best feeling when it clears away.
Yeah.
What's your favorite, like, I call it level one. What's your favorite tip to give a client real quick if they ever ask you something?
Oh my God. The basic one always is like change your dependents. Put 0. Single, married.
Or just remember when the kid gets old. They just forget how when the kids get to like 16 or 17 to start remembering the kids getting old and switching.
For sure.
When credits change the W-4.
Yes, that's right. They're just, it's just the relationship that we're able to build with our clients.
Yeah, no, it's great.
Yeah.
You're very community oriented.
Yes.
What's some of your highlights of being in the community here in Las Vegas?
Oh my gosh. Actually, let me share something with you guys as business owners. This is specifically for people that, are entrepreneurs that, social media is taking over and you're like, I'm not as good at these 21-year-old people dancing around and doing all this silly stuff because we don't have time for that. I'm going to share something so powerful, David, and it's going to transform your life. And anybody there watching that wants to follow this, you have to be intentional with social media. Okay. Colors, because it's all psychology. So you're scrolling. So you create an intention. I started a year ago. I decided, I was like, I'm going to use this social media as a tool. You know, I never thought I'm going to get clients. I wasn't in it for that reason because I'm very, you know, I have a business. I have a brick and mortar with clients, and I actually have a real business where people go to. So to me, social media, Instagram specifically, was a way for me to like, hey, let me get my brand out there. Like, you know, I've been around, like I have credibility. So we started sharing, you know, just back office, sharing the team, sharing a life, sharing a camera into our world. And because of that, I've always been a community advocate. I always want to serve UNLV, community nonprofits, or anybody that wants to help and ask for help. They come to our office, and we're there to help them, right?
Right.
One of the biggest things was I got Woman of the Year for Nevada.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was amazing. We actually, for our work party, we just got hosted at Jean George at the Aria by them, and they invited us because of our social media. Just the opportunities that I've gotten just because I'm showing up. I got an award from the White House by our local congressman here, and I just decided to show up online, and they actually found me online. And that's the power of using social media in a positive way. You know, like I said earlier, I just showcase my brand. I showcase the woman empowerment. I showcase what's possible for you. You don't have to be a boring tax preparer. You don't have to be a boring anything. You know, just showcase and be intentional with what you're doing. And I also, I mean, I can't even say everything that's happened. I mean, we went to Poppy Steak, and we actually met David, the owner, from Poppy Steak.
Nice.
And he's so amazing. And it's just like things like that, just because we're so involved with like social media, and like it's just things that you are priceless. And Vegas is really small. You know, we're very fortunate that it's a very small little playground area.
I was going to say, it's like if you're a local and you're in the network, you're pretty much greenlit and well taken care of.
Yes.
You know, if you don't have a local Nevada ID and they don't think you're from here because they don't see your face enough, they know you're a tourist and you get treated like one.
Exactly.
So you want to be the part of the family, and you don't want to be one of the guests that show up at Thanksgiving with the takeout bags. You want to be the one that's there making it happen.
That's right. And what about for you, David? Like, what's your goal? Like, what is your mission with like you doing this podcast or like getting your face out there? Like, why did you decide to do that?
So a lot of it is aligned with what you're talking about. It's about the education to put out there for our clients that are current and clients that are potential that want to hear about the Tax Shack and hear about taxes. The social media is also there for us to just, you know, keep ourselves current and in front of the people. I think it's a easier digestible way than a blog. No one reads anything anymore anyway. So I'd rather at least make it enjoyable, talk about it, grab the sound bites and the snippets, share it with the team, share it with people. I think it's a good way. What we've been doing, we scheduled out our social media. So I do Motivation Mondays. We have Laura who does Tax Tip Tuesdays. We have Brian who does Wisdom Wednesdays. We use Friday for Cash Flow Friday. We use Thursdays, Saturdays, and Sundays for what we have going on. So our toy drive for the Christmas holiday time, for the webinars that we have going on, for the Tax Shack shop, for testimonials and reviews that we'll repost from clients, and just kind of repurpose the stuff that way. It's been really fun getting feedback from people that say, you know, hey, I learned this. I liked, you know, hearing Brian's Wisdom Wednesday. I didn't know that, you know, depreciation on heavy vehicles goes back to when Bush was in office and has to do with the fact that the Bushes are from Texas and oil and like this whole, you know, flowing of ideologies, you know, or things like this, hearing about inspirational ideas that we can put out on Motivational Monday. You know, it's just been a way for us to stay current and not be seasonal for our clients. I think that tax, for me, I live on the ideology that anyone can do taxes. Taxes are very historical, and I don't want to do data entry. I want to be proactive. We want to be tax advisors. We want to be strategists, and we want to help our clients with planning. And if I'm not in front of them in August, September, and October, they're probably going to forget to call me in November and December and do that planning. And that's, you know, I think one of the main vital points to us doing all this social work and getting in front of people and doing the podcast is because we just want to be in front of them and be current. We've added some systems to our back end. You know, I want to get people to have reminders like they're going to the dentist. I want them to know like, hey, you got to come an hour ahead, a day ahead, bring your documents, write the review 2 hours afterward. Like, you know, we want to be on top of that type of stuff because that's where businesses are going and growing to. You know, I used to joke years ago I want to put a billboard up in front of near my store. You know, forgetting what the cost of a billboard was. And now I'm like, dude, if you're not willing to put $50 or $100 to sponsor a friggin' Instagram post or YouTube, like, you're really not doing any advertising. So, you know, that's kind of the idea behind just staying out there, staying current, and getting us out there to people.
Exactly. I mean, that's the future. Like you were saying, like the ads. I love ads. People think that's weird. Why would it be weird? Like, people pay advertisers. Like, I am organic and I also pay ads. If I see something that's working, guess what?
I'm going to do it.
I'm going to put money into it and it's going to push it. And that client is going to be 10x what I invested. You know, people are like, oh, well, you pay for stuff. It's like, okay, great. Well, tell that to the people on Super Bowl Sunday that pay $1 million of money for a small little 30-second ad.
Yeah, when you see TurboTax's 30-second ad, think about what we're doing for $100.
Exactly. So again, it's like an awareness, especially for like the Latino community where we are very left behind. We're hardworking people, but a lot of these systems and like even like I talk to influencers that are very influential in the Latino community. I'm like, we need to come together. Like this mindset of like, divided among Latinos, it's to me is like I was not raised like that. So to me, when I can bring value to my community with paid ads or systems or reels or how can we push it, like even like sharing like how I do my work behind the scene, like I'll teach you guys. If you guys ask me, I'll tell you.
You got to teach them some of that Sherman Oaks.
You
got to teach them some of that Sherman Oaks Jewish ideology, which is we don't get rich unless 5 of us are with us getting rich.
Hey, give me that high five. Yeah, because I grew up with Jewish people. I love my Jewish people.
That's what I'm saying. There's no like me versus my buddy from San Francisco calls it crabs in a bucket. As soon as one of them's trying to clear them up, the next one's pulling their leg back down.
I don't even want to talk about that because they send me reels like that. I'm like, stop. Like, I don't even want to think like that.
No,
like, it's not even like, you know what I mean? How I was brought up. I was raised like that. So right now we've been invited to, you know, speak on stages with other important people, you know, and because we're sharing information and sharing value, especially with systems and AI, which is what you were saying right now was you have a system. You know, I have a system. I can share you guys my system. You know, I have to post certain things at a certain time because why is it called a feed on Instagram? Because
that's when it's telling you to
you got to feed it.
Eat it in.
You got to feed that thing, right? If you don't feed it, it's going to go hungry. And guess what? It's just a system, guys. So let's use it together, grow together, and collaborate. And tax season 2026.
Oh, yeah.
Here we come.
If you could share anything with that, or let's start winding this down. What would you like to share? Where do we find you? What's some of the things that we should know about?
So you can find me on Instagram, Sonia Yvette, and Sonia's Tax Services. I share everything on Sonia's Tax Services. You guys get to see behind the scenes, okay? Follow our stories, and we will actually show you guys like some really, really interesting, funny stuff. And we try to make it fun for everybody. And, you know, just this tax season, I'm so excited just to be, you know, growing and getting my mentorship program out bigger, even bigger this year. I'm really fully ready to launch it, our CRM, and teach people how to get, you know, plugged in, especially tax preparers, how to grow and not feel alone in this industry.
If you feel like your tax business is dying, give Sonia a call. She's going to put the spark in it and show you guys how to reinvent yourself in 2026.
Yes, I love it. You too. You know, good luck with all your ventures. I know you have big, big, big goals coming up this year.
Oh, yeah. Thank you very much. Yeah, we're really trying to get the team growing, the team educated, and just make the business boom. So it's going to be a fun 2026.
Yeah, so we'll see you at the Latino Tax Convention.
Oh, yeah. We already have our tickets. We already have our rooms booked.
Oh, wow.
I think 6 of us going already.
Uh-huh.
That's going to be so little spoiler alert.
Okay.
I was supposed to be in Maui. Uh-huh. My timeshare, only week they booked me was the same exact overlapping week of Latino Tax Fest. So I called Maui, and I'm actually going in like 3 days early so I can fly from Maui to Vegas to surprise my team. They don't know it yet.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So I'm sending them without me, and they're going to show up without me, and then I'm going to show up and surprise them like the next day.
Amazing. All right.
Don't tell anyone.
No. Okay, well, thank you, David. Any more questions?
No, I think, Sonia, it's amazing. It's great to see you again. It's great to always work with you. And if you're in Las Vegas and need a local tax pro, if you're not coming to the Tax Shack, check out Sonia's Taxes.
Thank you. All right. Thank you, David. Thank you for having me.
Where the money at, dog? We'll bring it back.
Don't worry where the money at. Right there. Tap in with Tax Shack. Where your money at? Tap in. Holla